If you walk into your house after 5 years and find a hot dinner still steaming on the table, do not eat it. And whatever you do not look out the window. Julian thought he was just a runaway husband returning home to beg for forgiveness. He had no idea his family had already dug his grave in the backyard. Tonight, the locks aren't changed. The lights are on, and someone is waiting upstairs. But they aren't alive. This is the story of Julian's return and the absolute nightmare he found waiting inside the house he abandoned. The porch light was on, just as he'd left it 5 years ago. But the key in his pocket felt heavy with regret. He expected anger. He expected tears. He even expected the locks to be changed. Instead, the door swung open easily. Step into the dark. The air inside smelled strangely familiar, like fresh pine and vanilla, his wife's favorite scent. But as his eyes adjusted, a chill ran down his spine. The house wasn't abandoned. It was frozen in time. On the dining table sat 3 plates. The food looked fresh, steam still rising faintly into the cold air. "Who's there?" Julian called out, his voice shaking. No one answered, but he heard a faint sound from upstairs. Every step up the stairs felt like walking deeper into a nightmare he couldn't wake up from. He reached his daughter Lily's room. The door was cracked open, a soft pink glow spilling into the hallway. Inside, her toys were neatly arranged. A mechanical doll sat on the bed, its plastic eyes staring directly at him. Written in childlike handwriting on the vanity mirror were the words, "Why did you leave us, Daddy?" Julian stumbled backward, his heart hammering against his ribs. This wasn't a welcoming home. It was a trap. He ran to the master bedroom. The door was wide open, and the rocking chair by the window was moving. On the bed lay his wife's wedding dress, perfectly preserved, spread out as if she were wearing it. Beside the dress was a laptop. The screen flickered to life, showing a live security camera feed of the hallway. Julian stared at the screen. On the monitor, he could see himself standing in the bedroom. But someone was standing right. He spun around instantly. The space behind him was completely empty. Nothing but cold air. He looked back at the screen. The figure on the monitor was closer now, its hand reaching for his digital shoulder. Panic seized him. He bolted out of the room, flying down the stairs, desperate to reach the front door. He grabbed the front doorknob and pulled with all his might. It wouldn't budge. It was locked from the outside. From the kitchen, a phone began to ring. An old-fashioned landline, its bell piercing the silence like a siren. Drawn by an unnatural force, Julian walked into the kitchen and picked up the heavy receiver. A voice whispered through the static. It was Sarah. "You always said you'd come back to us, Julian." "Where are you?" he sobbed. The voice replied, colder this time. "Look out the kitchen window." Outside in the muddy backyard, under the pouring rain, were 2 freshly dug graves, and a third one, empty. Above the empty grave stood 2 figures in raincoats, holding shovels, staring blankly back at him. A cold, wet hand clamped firmly over Julian's mouth, dragging him down into the darkness. The runaway husband was finally home, and this time, he would never leave again.
If you want to survive the next nightmare, hit that subscribe button right now. Tap the video on your screen to uncover another mind-bending story.